Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're bringing you another great lesson about sports, part of our sports series.
That's right. And in this lesson, we are talking about maybe the world's most favorite sport.
Right. One of the most popular sports in the world, soccer, or also known as football in other countries.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get started with this great lesson, let's take a look at some of the words we'll find in the dialogue in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
We're going to look at 3 words here. The first word is wingman.
Wingman.
A wingman.
Now, wingman isn't really related to soccer in any way.
Okay.
But it's a way of referring to somebody as your right hand.
So your helper.
Your helper, your number one guy.
Okay.
Right?
So a wingman is someone who helps you a lot.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Okay. Our next word, tied.
Tied.
They are tied.
They are tied. Now, this is an interesting word because tie can be a noun, verb, and an adjective, right?
Exactly. So in this case, they are tied. It's an adjective meaning...
They have the same score.
Okay. And a tie is
a game that has ended with no winner or loser. Both of them had the same score.
exactly. And so obviously the verb to tie is to reach the same score as your other team.
Exactly.
All right. Well, our third word can also be used as a noun and a verb, and it is foul.
Fouled.
Fouled
Okay, so to foul somebody.
is to do something to them that is not allowed in the sport.
Okay. And so when you do this, you have committed a foul.
Exactly.
Okay, so you use it in the same way, to foul or a foul. Interesting.
Well, we're going to hear these 3 words in context now. So why don't we listen to our soccer dialogue?
Welcome back, soccer fans. My name is Rick Fields, and as always, I am joined by my commentating wingman, Bob Copeland.
And we're on the brink of soccer history today as Ecuador and Brazil are tied 1-1 as we begin the second half of the 2022 World Cup.
The ref calls the players for the kickoff, and here we go. Ecuador quickly passes the ball to the midfield, but it's out of bounds.
That'll be a throw-in for Brazil. Adriano has the ball and makes a long pass to Robinho. And the ref has called him offside.
No question about it. He was offside by a mile. We have a goal kick for Ecuador. Edison Mendez heads it to Valencia. He shoots. Deflected by the defender, and we have a corner kick.
Delgado takes the corner. We have a foul. Oh no, Dida, the goalkeeper, has fouled the Ecuadorian player. He gets a yellow card, and that will be a penalty kick.
This is the perfect opportunity for Ecuador to get ahead in this match and become world champions. He gets ready for the kick, he shoots, and he...
Okay, so Ecuador tied with Brazil in the 2022 World Cup.
Wow, Marco, I'm really happy to see that you are able to see so far into the future.
Well, I called it. So in
Yeah.
2022, if we do win the World Cup, you know who said it first.
All right. Do you have money on that?
Yes. All right. So apart from this, we saw some really great vocabulary in this lesson. So let's take a look at it now in Language Takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
All right. We've got a lot of soccer words for you, but they're all important. So let's take a look at the first one. Kickoff.
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 So a kickoff.
This is how you start a soccer game, right?
Right. So it's the very beginning. The referee blows the whistle and you kick the ball to another player. That's the kickoff.
Okay. So our next phrase, out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Okay. Out of bounds. This is a great word.
So in soccer, when the ball goes out of bounds, it goes outside the white lines, right?
Outside of the playing field.
Okay.
And you can use it in all other sports. You can use it in basketball. You can use it in tennis.
Or football or anything.
Right. So any part that is not for playing.
Out of bounds.
What's our next word?
Throw in.
A throw in.
A throw in.
Okay. So A throw-in. The ball goes out of bounds. How do you put it back into play?
Obviously, a throw-in.
Okay, so you throw in the ball. That's the only time where a soccer player will actually grab the ball with his hands.
All right, now another soccer term we have here, offside.
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 Okay, so this is a little bit difficult to explain, but just imagine you're on the soccer field and you are trying to score a goal. Now you have some defenders, right?
Right.
Those are the people who are trying to take the ball away. And you pass the ball to somebody who is behind the defenders.
Oh, and that person is offside.
Exactly. So you must be at all times in the same position as the defenders or in front of them, but you can't be all the way in the back.
Okay, so is this a noun or a verb or an adjective?
So this is an adjective. He is offside. That's his condition.
Okay, great. Excellent explanation, Marco. Thank you.
All right.
Now we're going to look at 3 different phrases for 3 types of kicks in soccer.
Okay, so let's take a look at this. The first one is goal kick.
A goal kick.
Okay, goal kick.
So who does the goal kick?
It's usually the goalie or the goalkeeper
All right.
who takes the goal kick.
Okay, so when the goalie kicks the ball. Now what about a corner kick?
Okay, so if the team is attacking and the ball goes out of bounds in the back area near the goal, then they get a corner kick. They got to kick.
The power of words. Words have a strong effect on people. They can change emotions, thoughts, and actions. Some words make people happy, while others make them sad. The words that people hear or read every day can shape their mindset. A kind word can bring comfort, and a harsh word can cause pain. Positive words can inspire and motivate. When people hear words of encouragement, they feel stronger and more confident. Compliments make people feel valued and appreciated. Supportive words help people believe in themselves. When people hear kind words, they are more likely to have a positive attitude. Negative words can hurt and cause doubt. When someone hears criticism, they may feel insecure. Harsh words can make people feel small and unimportant. Some words can cause fear or anxiety. When people hear negative words often, they may start to believe them, and this can affect their confidence. The words that people use with themselves are also important. Self-talk, or the words people say in their minds, can change their mood and thoughts. When people tell themselves positive things, they feel better. When they think negative thoughts, they may feel sad or stressed. Words have great power. They can bring happiness or sadness, confidence or fear. Choosing the right words can make a big difference in how people feel and think. How words affect emotions. Words can create different emotions in people. They can bring joy, comfort, and confidence, but they can also cause sadness, fear, and stress. The way words are spoken or written can change how people feel inside. Kind words can make people feel safe and happy. When someone hears words of love and support, they feel warm and cared for. A simple, "You did a great job," or "I believe in you," can fill a person with confidence. Encouraging words help people feel strong, even when they face challenges. Hurtful words can cause pain and worry. Insults and criticism can make people feel small and unworthy. Words of doubt or rejection can bring sadness. Sometimes, negative words stay in a person's mind for a long time, making them feel anxious or insecure. The words people hear often shape their emotions every day. A friendly greeting can brighten someone's mood, while an unkind comment can ruin their day. Words have the power to lift people up or bring them down. Choosing words carefully can help create a positive and happy atmosphere. The influence of words on mindset. Words do not only affect emotions, They also shape the way people think. The things people hear and say every day can change their mindset. A positive mindset helps people feel strong and hopeful, while a negative mindset can make life feel difficult and stressful. Encouraging words can help people believe in themselves. When someone hears, "You can do it," or "keep trying," they feel motivated to work harder. These words give them confidence and help them see challenges as opportunities to grow. Positive words create a mindset of strength and success. Negative words can fill the mind with doubt. When people hear, "You are not good enough," or "You will fail," they may start to believe these words. This can make them afraid to try new things. A negative mindset can stop people from reaching their goals and make them feel helpless. The way people talk to themselves is also important. If they use kind and encouraging words in their thoughts, they feel happier and more confident. If they say negative things to themselves, they may feel sad and discouraged. The words inside the mind are just as powerful as the words from other people. Choosing the right words can help create a strong and positive mindset. When people hear and use positive words, they feel more capable and ready to face life's challenges. The negative effects of hurtful words. Hurtful words can have a deep impact on people. They do not just cause pain in the moment, but can stay in a person's mind for a long time. Some words can create feelings of insecurity, anxiety, or even fear. When people hear insults or criticism often, they may start to believe those words. They may feel that they are not good enough or that they will never succeed. This can make them doubt their abilities and lose confidence. Words like "you are not smart" or "you will never achieve anything" can damage a person's self-esteem. Some words can also create stress and worry. If people are told that they are not capable or that they will fail, they may become afraid to try new things. Negative words can make people feel hopeless and trapped. They may begin to avoid challenges because they fear disappointment. Even when words are not meant to hurt, they can still have a strong effect. Jokes or careless comments can make someone feel embarrassed or unimportant. Over time, too many negative words can lead to sadness, frustration, or even paranoia. People may start to expect bad things, even when there is no reason to worry. Being careful with words is important because they have power. A single negative comment can stay in a person's mind for years, shaping their thoughts and feelings. Choosing kind and supportive words helps to protect and uplift others. The power of positive words. Positive words have the power to heal, encourage, and inspire. They can help people feel strong, confident, and happy. When people use kind and supportive words, they create a better environment for themselves and others. A simple word of encouragement can change someone's day. Hearing "you are doing great" or "I believe in you" gives people the confidence to keep going. Supportive words can help people overcome challenges and achieve their goals. They remind people that they are capable and valued. Speaking kindly to others creates a positive atmosphere. When people hear words of appreciation and respect, they feel safe and motivated. A kind word can make someone smile, feel loved, and believe in themselves. Compliments and encouragement can build strong relationships and make life more enjoyable. The words people say to themselves are just as important as the words from others. When people use positive self-talk, they feel more hopeful and motivated. Saying "I can do this" or "I am strong" helps create a mindset of success and happiness. Positive words in the mind can replace fear and doubt with confidence and determination. Words shape emotions, thoughts, and actions. Choosing positive and encouraging words makes life brighter and more meaningful. Speaking with kindness and care helps create a world where people feel valued, supported, and inspired.
You're listening to Business English Pod, the Business English podcast for professionals on the move.
Hello and welcome back to Business English Pod for today's lesson on English for logistics and supply chain management. Today, we're going to look at the manufacturing side of the supply chain. Before we get started, a quick reminder that this lesson, along with hundreds of others, is available as a free download from the BEP website. Premium members can also access a PDF transcript and online quizzes for every lesson. If you'd like to take a free trial to preview some of these extra resources, just head over to www.businessenglishpod.com. When you pick a product off a shelf at a local store, it's easy to forget what a long, hard road that product has traveled. It may have parts and materials from all over the world. They may be shipped to multiple locations for processing, and once it's ready and packaged, it may travel long distances to make it to your neighborhood. This enormous network of information, people, materials, and processes is called a supply chain. And the people who coordinate everything are involved in supply chain management. Good supply chain management can make the difference between a happy customer and an angry customer, and between profit and loss. In this lesson, we'll listen to a meeting at a clothing company with a complex supply chain connecting the US and Asia. During the meeting, the colleagues use many English expressions we call collocations. Collocations are simply natural, frequently occurring combinations of words. A good example of a collocation is supply chain management. Native English speakers use collocations like this automatically, and specific groups of people or fields of work have certain collocations they commonly use. By studying these collocations, you'll improve your vocabulary and sound more fluent. As you listen to the conversation, try to pick out some of these collocations, and we'll discuss them later in the debrief. In the dialogue, we'll hear Cam and Tanya. Cam is a production planner for Boston Vintage in the US. Tanya is a supply chain manager helping to develop the company's supply chain in Southeast Asia. Cam and Tanya use many collocations specific to supply chain management in their conversation about the manufacturing side of the supply chain. As you listen to the dialogue, try to answer the following questions. 1. What is Tanya's first big concern on the manufacturing side of things? 2. What does Cam say that people on the ground have expectations about? 3. What does Tanya say will increase costs but help manage risk?
All right. Happy to talk all this through, Tanya. But just so I know, you haven't actually started talking to possible 3PLs yet, or have you?
No. Wanted to get clarity on the goals first. And that's what I'd love your input on, since you're familiar with the production scheduling.
Right. So, what are your concerns there?
Well, off the bat, a couple of big concerns on the manufacturing side. For one, we really need to reduce excess inventory. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're on this. But just a heads up, this won't be easy. As we grow retail there, projecting demand will be a challenge. Moving target, so to speak.
Duly noted. Still a priority, though. And if we can identify potential bottlenecks and work to eliminate those bottlenecks, I think we can get a lot leaner, even while we increase volume.
Good to hear. But I know there are people on the ground there who have certain expectations around lead times, and you're going to have to manage those expectations.
For sure. I've floated some ideas with the team already, but this is the kind of thing I need to hear. Now, number 2 concern. The risk of depending on just a few suppliers. It looks great to have these blanket purchase orders in terms of cost savings, but we just saw what happens when one of them experiences a slowdown.
Yeah, was that a COVID thing? Did they have an outbreak?
They did. I get that these things happen, but this kind of supply chain disruption doesn't have to be quite so hard on us.
If we spread the risk.
Precisely. And I realize there's pressure to hold costs flat, but risk management has a price. And so we'll be looking at sourcing materials from some different suppliers. That'll increase costs.
Okay, well, I guess it depends on how well we negotiate pricing. But on the financial front, won't using a 3PL pay for itself in terms of other cost savings, efficiencies and all that?
Remains to be seen, but it should pay off long term.
Now let's go through the dialogue again and look at the language and collocations Cam and Tanya used in their conversation. At the start, we hear Cam asking about possible 3PLs. 3PL means third-party logistics, which is a third-party business that helps coordinate parts of the supply chain.
All right. Happy to talk all this through, Tanya. But just so I know, you haven't actually started talking to possible 3PLs yet, or have you?
No. Wanted to get clarity on the goals first. And that's what I'd love your input on, since you're familiar with the production scheduling.
Before talking to 3PLs that might help build out Boston Vintage's manufacturing supply chain, Tanya wants to be clear about their goals. And she feels Cam will have good information on this, since he's familiar with production scheduling. A lot of supply chain management involves scheduling. To produce goods, someone needs to ensure materials are in the right place at the right time. Also, that people, machines, and other resources are organized to do the work. Production scheduling is an important collocation, so let's try some more examples.
With more efficient production scheduling, we can increase output.
Our production scheduling review supports adding a night shift.
Let's hear Cam and Tanya talk about their first concern.
Right. So, what are your concerns there?
Well, off the bat, a couple of big concerns on the manufacturing side. For one, we really need to reduce excess inventory. We've talked about that before.
Off the bat or at the start, Tanya wants to talk about reducing excess inventory. Inventory refers to goods and materials a company has in stock or immediately available. Generally speaking, companies don't want to have too much or excess inventory hanging around. It takes up space and loses value. For this reason, companies try to reduce excess inventory. What are some ways we can talk about reducing excess inventory? Let's run through some more examples.
We're offering big discounts on last year's products to reduce excess inventory.
To reduce excess inventory, can we return some materials to the supplier?
What does Cam think about the goal of reducing excess inventory?
Yeah, and I'm glad you're on this. But just a heads up, this won't be easy. As we grow retail there, projecting demand will be a challenge. Moving target, so to speak.
Cam is happy to hear Tanya talk about reducing inventory, but he wants to give her some important information, or a heads up, as he says. He points out that it will be difficult to project demand. Demand is how much of something is needed or wanted. In this case, they're talking about how much of their product is being ordered. When you project something, you are making a guess about a future number. So projecting demand is about accurately predicting how much of something is needed in the future. Projecting demand is certainly an important part of managing inventory and of supply chain management in general. Let's practice some more examples of this collocation.
We're projecting demand for our running shoes will continue to grow.
Sales data from the past several years should help us project demand for services.
Now let's hear how Tanya responds to Cam's heads up.
Duly noted. Still a priority, though. And if we can identify potential bottlenecks and work to eliminate those bottlenecks, I think we can get a lot leaner, even while we increase volume.
Tanya uses the expression duly noted as a way of saying I understand and I will take that into consideration. She understands that projecting demand is difficult, but she still thinks they can reduce excess inventory to get leaner or more efficient as a company. Another part of getting leaner is identifying and eliminating bottlenecks. Think of a bottle. Now think of what determines how fast liquid can flow out of the bottle. It's the narrowest part, or the neck, that determines that flow. In a process, a bottleneck is a point where there is a problem or a block. That problem causes the whole process to slow down, and, in manufacturing, it can also lead to excess inventory. So, bottlenecks in supply chains need to be identified or located and eliminated or removed. Let's try some more examples of these collocations.
We've identified the bottleneck at the plant. Looks like one machine is slow.
Increasing our truck fleet should help eliminate the delivery bottlenecks.
Tanya used one more useful collocation in her discussion about bottlenecks. She said they can get leaner even while they increase volume. Volume refers to how much. In this case, it's about how much they produce. So increasing production volume means making more of something. Let's try some more examples of increasing volume.
I've talked to the plant manager about adding a shift to increase production volume.
Our new marketing campaign has increased sales volume by 13%.
Cam has another bit of advice for Tanya.
Good to hear. But I know there are people on the ground there who have certain expectations around lead times, and you're going to have to manage those expectations.
Cam is talking about a really important idea in production scheduling called lead time. Basically, lead time is the time it takes between the order of a product and its final delivery. That includes all the steps and processes in the supply chain, from materials to manufacturing to distribution. Cam's point is that people have expectations about lead times, and Tanya will have to manage those expectations. Can she ensure the same lead times while they increase volume and reduce excess inventory? That's her big challenge. Let's practice some more ways of using this expression, lead time.
With a shortage of materials, our lead times are up to 4 weeks on most orders.
Sharing sales data with our suppliers has helped us reduce lead times.
Now let's get back to the dialogue as Tanya discusses another major concern in the manufacturing supply chain.
For sure. I've floated some ideas with the team already, but this is the kind of thing I need to hear. Now, number 2 concern. The risk of depending on just a few suppliers. It looks great to have these blanket purchase orders in terms of cost savings, but we just saw what happens when one of them experiences a slowdown.
The companies that provide you parts and materials are your suppliers. Sometimes